Hello, another Monday is here. Welcome back to the Monday Minute. My name is Rita Ernst. I am the author of Show Up Positive and a co-author of Culture Impact Strategies to Create World-Changing Workplaces. And I'm so delighted to have you with me today. We are talking about apathy in the workplace in this June series. It's something so many companies are struggling with, and I think it's important that it becomes a conversation that we can speak with transparency about. And so, in Culture Impact, my chapter is titled Culture Repair. And it is, in my opinion, one of the most important things that we do in transitioning in the workplace as leaders. And that is recognizing that our role isn't to come from the top and tell people, but to gather people from the grassroots level, engage with them, and co create alongside of them so that they really share ownership and commitment. And I talk about that in three different ways. Last week, we talked about belongingness, and I encourage you to go back and get the replay. This week, I want to talk about contribution, which is the second critical area. I think belonging is the foundation of the house, but contribution really is the framing that allows the structure to stand. It is so important to us as human beings that we have meaningfulness in our work, and that is translated through our contribution. And when that meaningfulness and that contribution lacks in our workplace experience, we have this sense of emptiness, of unfulfilled promise and capability and capacity. And so I think one of the reasons that we see apathy come into the workplace is that people have this emptiness, this longing to bring something greater than what they feel they are invited to bring into the workplace. And sometimes that's related to belonging, but let's talk about contribution, about your ability to create and generate something that has value and meaning to yourself. So I want to share a few statistics, and I'm going to read these because I won't keep them straight otherwise. If you are joining me live, feel free to jump in the chat and let me know that you are here. But here's some facts that I researched when I was writing this chapter that I want to share with you. And one of the most important things about contribution is that it is not about the task of work that people do. Sometimes that gets commingled in certain types of roles. I'm working with an organization right now that delivers services to adults with special needs. And of course, there is some overlap there, but it's really more about the purpose behind what people are doing and not so much the task and the content. And when you think about what we do as leaders, we often spend all of our time focusing on tasks and talking to people about tasks, how to do them smarter, more efficiently, more correctly. But are we really talking about what's important to them, which is purpose? Are we connecting first on the why? It's important that the why shows up in the contribution to create that meaningfulness. And so, a great question to start any conversation with an employee, especially a new employee, but an employee of any tenure, is this question: do you consider the work you do important? And your job is simply to listen and to dig deeper. Tell me more about that. Help me understand why that matters to you. What more would you want that to be? You're just going to go deeper, deeper, deeper into really finding where that connection lies for them in terms of finding meaningfulness in the work that they are doing. Helping people uncover and stay connected to that is essential to fighting apathy. It is the antidote that you are looking for. You really need to have people know that it matters to you, to have them feel that level of engagement. Here are a few kind of specific statistics to just tell you why this is so meaningful in your workplace. And I think you're going to find these as staggering as I did. So, in the 2021 Workplace Happiness Study, their finding is that feeling energized by work and having a sense of purpose were the top ranking factors contributing to people's happiness at work. So they were surveying what creates happiness at work. And people said feeling energized by their work and a sense of purpose energy and purpose in their work. You can do this. You can talk about these things. You can help people tap into that and find it. In research by SurveyMonkey, 75% of employees who reported that they didn't find meaningfulness in their work also reported a strong experience of burnout. 75% of people who lack meaningfulness in their jobs also suffer burnout. This is where burnout is the cause. Apathy is a symptom of burnout, right? People just can't find the energy, the commitment anymore. And just by contrast, check this out. 94% of the employees who found their work meaningful didn't have any symptoms of burnout. So staggering finding. And one last thing that I want to share with you, and that is, and I've seen, I have this conversation with people. It's of course that meaningfulness of the contribution, but there is also a time element in work, and we're hearing and seeing this more and more from newer generations entering the workplace. In the Happier Hour, Dr. Cassie Holmes shares the research that she's been doing about being time starved and how that impacts our overall happiness and well being. And here's an interesting finding that came out of her research, that having too much discretionary time, which in her research was more than 5 hours, generates as much unhappiness as being time starved, because it undermines one's sense of purpose. Now, I don't think there are a lot of people who have 5 hours of excess time at work in a day, but in a work week, in an overall work week, I think one of the reasons we are experiencing apathy in the workplace is that people have too much discretionary time. They don't really understand why they need to be sitting at a desk. This is why they want flexibility. If they can get their job done sooner or faster, and they want that discretionary time to spend in other ways. And if we are chaining them to the desk, if we're tracking eye movement, doing all of these crazy things and saying you've got to get your 8 hours in every day, and they are sitting with all this excess idle time, it is generating apathy. It is generating unhappiness and dissatisfaction, because there's no meaningfulness for them in just sitting at a computer just to keep some tracking device happy, when there's not contribution to be made by them during that time. So I really want us to think about these things this week and really think about when have you really soared in terms of your commitment and capability? And when have you been in the struggle? When have you struggled with burnout and apathy and just questioning your whole desire to be in a workplace? And what insights can you find from your own research? But again, it is not about the tasks, not about the tasks. It is about the why. It is about the meaningfulness. So we're going to work on meaningfulness and contribution this week, and how we bring those things alive hand in hand as our antidote to apathy. Let me know, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about these ideas. You can find all of them written about beautifully in a chapter inside of Culture Impact right here, which is called Culture Repair, the New Mandate. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you back here for the conclusion next Monday of this series that we've been doing on apathy and how we can combat that in the workplace. Thank you for joining me, and have a fabulous day. Bye.